What's up everybody, welcome back to Box. We are doing all the achievements in Skaker XL, which came out on Xbox One, PC and PS4 July 28th. This is going to be an insanely long 1000, I will say that much, unless they decide to change something due to the final achievement around the world. We'll get to that one last. But everything else you should be able to do in about a couple hours. So you can get 730 gamer score or all but the final 2 trophies pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, so when you first load up the game, you should be brought into this tutorial and then just play through it. Your achievement may or may not pop once you finish it. You should get an achievement for doing a kickflip in that one right there if you do a kickflip. It's pretty simple. You could follow along with my inputs in the bottom left also. Although not on here, I suppose. But yeah, kickflip is just, I mean, I think it tells you in the tutorial. So, if you don't get the achievement for doing all the tutorials, just pick another one to do again. I personally pick the kickflip one, just because I like looking at flips, but anyone should do, just redo it, and it will give you the achievement for doing the tutorials. So you should have 2 achievements here. If not, just do a kickflip on land once you get out of it. Next up, we'll do a flip trick into a grind, which is as simple as it sounds. Any flip trick up onto a rail and then grind, make sure you land it. Alright, I mean a kickflip or a heel flip would be the easiest for that by far. So next you're going to want to go ahead and give yourself a little bit of room because the board likes to move around, and we're going to be doing 3 flip tricks in one combo. So obviously you got a kickflip and a heel flip, which are easy enough. They do have to be different, so we need 1 extra. But I mean, if you just mess around with the thumbsticks on the first one, make sure you land it in manual, and then just do a flip trick or a heel flip and then a kickflip, and then you should get your achievement once you land it. As with everything in this guide, you can follow along in the bottom left with my inputs, so feel free to use that as a guide. So next we're going to go ahead and do 5 grinds in one line. Now the trick to this is it's easier than it sounds. It does not need to be in one combo. It just has to be without bailing and without resetting yourself back to your position. So I like this part of this park here in this first map. Just do little grinds on these benches. You can even do repeat ones. They won't count, but you don't have to do like 5 different ones in a row. For example, in this run, I think I ended up doing a couple lip slides, a couple wheelie grinds maybe. Just kind of keep landing up on these benches, going around in a circle. Try and land on them in different positions. You'll eventually hit up 5 different grinds. And then once you land the final one, you will pop that achievement too. Next up is a little bit of a tricky one, at least for maybe people that aren't so good at the game like me, but you need to do a grind into another grind. I found this spot right next to the benches we were just using pretty easy, so you're going to want to go ahead and jump up onto the first rail, and then just hop on down to the second rail, and then you need to make sure you land it. So, you know, make sure that as soon as you get that second grind going, you just ollie out onto the flat surface to make sure you don't bail. I'll go ahead and show another one right here, just so you know it is possible again. But yeah, I mean, it might take you a few tries, but it shouldn't be too bad. Next we're going to do a super easy achievement. It's for changing your gear 20 times. And now you can do on this on any of the characters, the customs or the pros, but I recommend just clicking Evan Smith and then just changing his t-shirt 20 times because you don't have to go through as many menus. If you do the custom one, obviously you got to pick, you can't just swap the skin tone, it didn't seem from my testing, so I just went with Evan Smith and swapped his t-shirt over and over again 20 times until the achievement popped. So it is super simple. One of the, if not the easiest achievement in the game. Just takes, you know, a couple minutes to knock it all out. So next up, you're going to want to go to the big ramp map. That's press start, go to maps, go to big ramp. You'll load into this map here, which is going to be super useful for a lot of the achievements. So first up, we're going to just head on down here. Make sure that you try and do a big ollie, which is both thumbsticks down here. You might be able to get not scientifically possible there, but if not, don't worry. When you go off this jump, do a 900. It's pretty easy to do right there. Make sure you land it. If you don't land it, you won't get it. If you do more than 900, you won't get it. It has to be a 900. It can be backside, frontside, doesn't matter as long as it's a 900. So next up, we're just gonna go ahead and go back. You should also get the 10-meter air one from going off that jump too. So that's 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 Birdmans with 1 stone. But yeah, here we're gonna want to just go ahead and try and get a not scientifically possible. So just jump off this, but this time go ahead and go off to the left so you land on this desert area here. So you should get not scientifically possible because you can get that little bit of extra distance, not land on the higher ramp. You should also get the 5-meter drop achievement right here too. Next, we'll bang out another super easy achievement. This is for editing and saving a clip. So you do need to make sure you edit it, but you just hit your back button, your select button, your view button, whatever it is on Xbox One. Select, that one on the left. And just make sure you trim the replay clip, whatever, do whatever you want to. Just make sure it's changed from the original. Confirm it, save it. You will get that achievement too. So next, you're going to want to try and find yourself a little bit of room. It can be any map, whatever. I'm just going down here in the bowl to the right of the start on here. And you need to do 10 tray flips, I don't know how to pronounce it, in a row. So it doesn't have to be in one combo, but you can't have any other tricks in between. And you cannot do like double tray flips or anything. They have to be tray flips. I'm not sure if fakey tray flips count, but I'd recommend just doing tray flips. You can see my inputs here as I do them. I recommend making sure your skate is always lined up. If he's off at an angle, you might end up doing like a varial flip or something. So make sure he's always lined up. Just do 10 in a row and take you as long as you want. And once you've landed that final tray flip, you will have that achievement. So next up, we will get a 20-meter power slide. So this one's actually really simple to do. Just put your cursor or whatever at the top of a ramp. Build up some speed. I like to just go all out and get a ton of speed here. And then you need to push your sticks away from each other or towards each other to pull off a power slide. Just hold him there, and then once he stops, you'll get your achievement. Next up, we'll be heading to downtown Los Angeles to do a few of the grind manual achievements. So what I would do here is grab your reset point, drag it over here, just across the street from the start point, put it next to this car behind this tree, and then from here just go ahead and push a couple times and then manual all the way down this hill. Now manual is really easy in this game. You should have done it earlier when you did the 3 flip tricks in one combo, but essentially just hold the thumbstick down but not quite all the way, and you will go into a manual. Once you get the bottom hill, make sure you actually land it before you crash like that, and you will pop the achievement. Luckily I did land it before then. Next up, you're just going to want to basically do the same thing, except you want to hop up onto this rail or concrete post. As you can see there, me failing. I find the easiest way to do it is just to hop and then turn your body. I didn't actually do it right there, but if you hop and turn the body with the triggers, you can pretty much easily land on it every time. But just grind down here as far as you can and then just hop off. You should get the achievement for doing a 40-meter grind. So that just leaves us with the grindy achievements, no pun intended, but you need to Mongo push 100 times. So that is, as you can see, I'm pressing X here. I'm braking every time, but you don't actually have to. But you do need to make sure, if you just hold X, it'll only count for 1, so you essentially need to press X, let him kind of do it, get back on his board, press X again, and just keep kind of doing that until you get up to the 100. And yeah, I mean, I'll speed this up because yeah, it's 100 Mongo pushes. It's really simple. By the time you get to this point, you probably won't have many if you've been following along this guide, but it won't take you long just to mop it up. So I'll speed this up and hit you up at the next achievement. So next up, we're going to go ahead and grind for a kilometer. So we're going to use that same rail that we used for the 40-meter grind achievement. There we go. You can just watch me failing. So like I said, it's easiest if you just hop up and turn your body like that. Just grind down as far as you can. As soon as you start, getting to a fairly unsafe speed, going too slow, just hop off. Reset yourself back to that reset point, and then go again. I won't put all of this footage in here. It takes a little bit longer than the Mongo pushes, but as you can see from that percentage jump right there, it won't take you too long, like probably 10-ish minutes, just doing this over and over. So we'll cut this now, hit you back up at the end, and we'll move on to the next one. So that leaves us with just 4 achievements left. The next one we're going to do is the one for manualing for 1 hour. This, you don't have to move at all, you just have to be in a manual pose for an hour total. You do have to land those manuals, so as you can see, it doesn't really go up here unless I stop it. But you can idle this if you have a rubber band, wrap it around your stick, pull it down, but have the rubber band wrapped around a couple times so it can't go all the way down. And then he should just stay there in this pose, come back in an hour or however often you want to feel like to reset it up to make sure he maintains his pose and all that. Once you do an hour and land it, you do have to land them for them to count. But once you finish that last one for the time, you will unlock Who Needs 4 Wheels. That leaves us with just, well, 3 achievements, but 2 that you actually have to do. The other one's an all achievement. So the 2 achievements left are bailing 1,000 times and traveling around the world. So depending on the strategy you go for around the world, and you don't need to bother with this step I'm showing right here for Indestructable. If you just want to get Indestructable and leave the game at 730 or all but 2 trophies, then you can use this to quickly bail 1,000 times. Basically, just move your cursor here to the edge of the map, or the edge of the ramp on big ramp, and you'll keep falling through the map 1,000 times. As you can see, I mean, it's really easy to set up. You can, if he's not falling through the map, move it slightly until he is. If this glitch ever got patched, then I mean, just falling off anywhere, just leave your guy rolling down a hill, etc. Like I said, the next 2 methods for around the world, those will also be viable for this achievement also. So you can go ahead and use those if this isn't working out for you. But yeah, once you bail 1,000 times, you will get the 1,000 bail achievement. Alright, last and by no means least, we have Around the World. Now this achievement, as of release, unless they decide to change anything, requires you to travel 40,075 meters, which by the time you're done with all this, your tracker on Xbox will say 0%, because 40,000 is a lot. It seems like your best case scenario, you're looking at around 2,000 hours. Worst case, up to about 4,000 of just leaving your system on, which is anywhere from 80 days straight to 160 days straight, which is absolutely insane. So as you can see, I've set up this method here where you set it up. It's a little bit tricky to get this one set up, but once you get the angle right, he will fly down this ramp, jump off, and keep on going. This seems to be the fastest method, but like I said, it can be tricky to set up, and it seems like it's fairly easy to get your character in a position where he ends up not doing it properly, even though, you know, he might do it 10 times in a row, 20 times in a row, 50 times in a row, and then on the 51st he decides to not go where he's supposed to and just land somewhere and just be there, not bailing. So I'd recommend this method if you're around to kind of keep an eye on it, but maybe not to go to sleep to. But I mean, you can try your luck, it's up to you. But yeah, I mean, you can see me nailing it here a few times. But I'll move on to the next method. Alright, so this next method is from a user on True Achievements called Wolfsbane Skaddy. It's a similar concept to the last one I showed you, but it's a little bit easier to set up because it's just a straight line. So you need to put your marker here in downtown LA. It's just the road that was right next to the railway user for the grind achievement. You just have it so that your A button is held down, or your X button, whichever one you fancy, to just push yourself down here and into this bus. Now I've tried it a few times and it seems to work, but it does feel slower than the previous one, but maybe more consistent. Yeah, I mean, just keep pushing yourself down here and hitting the bus. People have said they've managed to get it to where they hit the bus and don't bail, so maybe again not a strat that's the best for leaving it on overnight, but again, I'll leave it up to you. So finally, this one just needs, again, a rubber band and anywhere with enough room to do it. This is probably by far the slowest method, but it is the most consistent. So you have it so you're holding down a trigger. It can be left, right trigger, or right trigger, and then X or A. Either one, just so you're basically pushing yourself around in a circle like this. This method, like I said, is probably by far the slowest, but it's consistent, so you can leave this pretty successfully without any issues. I was able to leave this on last night for a good 10 hours, came back and it was still going. So consistency wise, this is by far the best, but probably the slowest method. Whichever method you choose, this is an absolutely insanely long achievement. You are going to be leaving your system on for a long time. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this guide. Hopefully maybe they lower the requirement of that achievement. Even if it was like 10% of that, it would still be a long achievement, but nowhere near as insane. But if they don't, hopefully those methods help you out if you decide to go for it. And yeah, I mean, thanks again for watching. If you did enjoy this content, make sure to give me that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button to see some more content, hit the bell if you'll know when it goes live. I have recently started streaming up on Twitch, so make sure to check me out over there too. I might actually play some of this on stream. The challenges seem like they might be kind of fun to do, but yeah, in terms of the achievements, it is pretty horrible. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you next time.